my series of Is Your Story Collector here again. And this time around, I have the one and only, Mr. President. So, guys, Charles was our president in medical school. Mr. President. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Tell us who you are.
My name is Emeku Charles, the immediate past of Mr. President. So, any other thing?
Tell us one or two things now. Let's know one or two things about you.
Okay. Well, before being the president, I've served as the PRO of the association. Yes. When I, brought in a lot of, as in did a lot of, I worked with her as well. When she
Charles has been working with you. Charles cannot let go.
Yeah. So I worked there when she was the welfare, the first male welfare the association has. That did very well. So I'm happy to be here once again. I hope you enjoy what you're going to see very soon.
Okay. So for this series, this particular video, we're hopeful that, of course, again, you're able to pick one or two gems that our president will spill as he tells his medical school journey and experience. So, how has it been today now? This is about 3:54 p.m. on a Monday, February 17th. How are you today?
Well, I'm good. Just like every other Monday. Nothing new.
How do you feel today?
I feel good. I feel better.
So why did you decide to study medicine in the first place?
Well, this question once again. Well, just like every other young man in our times, I don't know, maybe I can't say to save lives because we had this family doctor then. He was a very, how would I put it, a very good man who I perceived as someone who was well to do at the time. And so I loved the way the man carried himself. And coming to realize he was a medical doctor, I think that was what sprang up the interest because I just loved the way the man behaved. So I think that's it.
So Charles was inspired.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. You're inspired by someone.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what would you describe? How has your medical journey been so far? So good. Describe it.
Medical journey.
Medical school journey, how has it been so far? So good.
Well, what can I say? It has been a rough one from 100 level days. Anyway, starting with the fact that a lot of people were admitted in our set.
It's our set.
So it has always been difficult. From I think about over 500 people or thereabout.
I think over 400.
Okay, over 400, maybe 450 or thereabout. So when we're in 100 level, so today we are about 140.
140. So 139, shall 140, 139.
So nobody needs to tell you what happened. It was not an easy one, honestly.
No.
It has been very rough, but I thank God for where we are today and for making it possible for us to come today, at least be alive to the end. Because in as much as some people were withdrawn, some people repeated, some people also died. And they don't have they are not living today. So generally I'm just thanking God for at least bringing me this far for now.
Okay. So now you were inspired by your family doctor. Do you want to call his name? Should we do a shout out?
Yes, Dr. Wosu.
Shout out to Dr. Wosu. Thank you for inspiring our president to be where he is right now. Okay, given that, so far so good with what you've seen and gone through and that has gone through you. That's one of the things you wish you knew before you got into medical school.
Well, nothing changed. That's the simple truth. Nothing changed. The only problem is that the country changed, and as the country changed, things interest started changing because there was this desire initially to chase the course and get it at all costs. But as time went on, the country started turning into what I can't explain. So the desire died at a point. I think I lost interest in a way in my 300 level days, the transition to 400 level. That was when I battled very much with, what I'm really doing here. But like I said, I don't have any regrets. The country caused what the problem is not the fault of the profession. It's a very wonderful profession. In my next life, I may also want to try it again or may not, depending on what is happening at the time. So I wouldn't say, it's just fair. Averagely, I don't have any regrets.
Do you think maybe you're one of those who did you think that medicine was lucrative, like giving the uncle or the family doctor now that inspired you? So I feel like you may have, because you also mentioned that you felt with everything you saw, apart from the way he carried himself, he was well to do. Did that make you think that like say there's money in this
Yes,
thing?
yes, obviously now. That's the man.
But now so far so good. What do you think? Do you think that your uncle was just calm, composed, and
No. So far so good. He's up till now. He's still, at least he's doing well.
He's doing well?
Yes.
But that lucrativeness you had in mind, do you think it's still there? That
I think so. The reason I think so is because I'll bring in years of experience into the talk. So the man, he's not a small man. He's not a small doctor. So by now he should have progressed more than how he used to be when I was growing up. So I want to believe that things did not decline.
Yeah.
In as much as the country, I keep on bringing in the country because you cannot do without it. You can always, you can't. No Nigerian can operate without talking about the environment which they are thriving. So I want to believe that there was no decline in what he was then. I believe that things kept getting better. I don't know, because for some time we have not been able to come across or get across to him. So I believe he's doing well wherever he is currently.
Okay, so there's this question I always ask: did you get tired at any point? So you've already mentioned because that period 300 levels, 400 levels. So which level would you not say was your best?
My best level. Did I have any best level? Did I have? Was there any best level? Best level.
Okay, what was your favorite course? Okay, which one at least comes close to being best level or best or favorite course?
I think ONG. ONG wasn't bad. ONG wasn't
bad. Everybody, ONG, you have a place in this particular set.
I think ONG.
So that's like so should we also say maybe your 5th year?
Yes now.
Okay, so far so good. Your experience so far in medical school journey. Could you share with us what an experience you had that is like the most outstanding? Just share an experience with us that
one of the experiences is my political career in medical school. It was I don't know. When I came in 100 level, I'm a very political person. Wherever I go, I like, being at the helm of affairs. Not to, praise myself, but I find myself always striving to be at the helm. So I got interested in being the president of the association. In my 200 level, I contested for second vice president.
So second vice president is like being the president. It's like being the president at Uturu. So if you remember one of the videos, I talked about how first year to third year you do your first year to third year at Uturu, then come over to Aba Absolute and do your fourth year to 6th year here in Absolute Aba. So there in 200 level we have the president here and the first vice president here in Aba. Then at Uturu we have the second vice president. So second vice president in quotes is almost like the president there because she's the person. He or she is like the person, the number one person at Uturu. So I just want to give some context to what he's talking about.
Yeah, so I contested for second vice president. I lost the. She knows I lost. I lost the election. From the moment I lost the election, I planned that I was going to be the president of the association. So fast forward to I think 500 level, I became the president. So,
Congratulations.
so that at least is an experience I cannot forget in a haste. As in,
Yeah.
it's something that, in as much as the times were rough, both academically, I was, the struggle of a medical student. We were always, doing this, then also brought in the time to include politics in what we are doing and made it more work to be able to manage, the political aspect of the association or the school or college and the academic aspect. So it was, you can imagine that kind of thing. Sometimes it doesn't go smoothly. Sometimes the politics can give you an edge and all that. So that's how it's an experience I will not forget in the head, like I said.
Will you do it again?
You mean
Like if you were to be a medical student again, maybe in another place or in another world, would you
yes,
go?
of course I'll get involved in politics because generally it's where I want to venture in real life. So I think I will. It's something I would like to do again.
What are some of your struggles as a medical student? Because you've mentioned what are some of your struggles as a medical
struggles, academic struggles. That's the main thing. The medical student should.
No, we're not talking about a medical student. We're talking about child.
Okay, myself. Okay, academics, of course. A time will come when things will get very tough. Maybe because of stress, because of the bulkiness of what to know. Do you understand? So, and people like us. The reason I say people like us is because I'm not just a medical student. I'm not invested.
You're not a typical medical
I'm not
student.
just invested in medical students.
He's not a triangle student.
Good.
Charles was not a triangle student.
Good. Going to class, no. We had other things we are doing that kept us going, especially financially. So those things can, from time to time, interfere with the plans you have, academic plans you have, and before you know it, you're struggling. Maybe to meet up with what you've been taught to read and all that. Then before you know it, there is date for exam or test. You start rushing. Sometimes you're not able to meet up. Anyhow, it goes well, it goes bad. It has always been like that throughout my stay in medical school.
Do you think maybe if the country was in quotes better, you would have been a typical medical student?
Why not? Okay. If the country was a place where you wouldn't bother about some certain expenses, and our parents could cover it very, very much. Yeah. Why would I be bothering myself? But in a country where things are like this, you can't just I didn't have any peace of mind
just being
a medical student. Because come on, there are other bills you need to put it. So I don't know, it didn't work. It didn't just work. I couldn't just focus on being a medical student.
Interesting. So when you got into medical school, who was your first friend in medical school?
My first friend in medical school.
I feel like it's kind of weird when you tell guys your friend. They feel like, guys are just amazing. There are just certain terms you don't use with guys. So you don't say, who was my G? Do you get? Who was your first G? But you don't say who was your first friend. It's as though he had some sort of feminine connotation. Or shall you get my point? Your first man, your first G.
Well, my first, I can't remember the first, but I know I was very close friends with Michael. Michael. He's in the US now, California.
Okay.
He stays in,
shout out to Michael. In case you watched it.
And so we talk every day, and I'm happy that he pursued the health-related course there, and he's also pursuing the course, that's the medicine thing in the US. So we talk every day, and in fact, he was just the closest person I had then.
Then who else now came on board?
I think Obochi at the point. Obochi, because he was my next door neighbor in J&J.
Yeah.
Then, so we had a lot of things in common.
Yeah, including your semblance.
So we had a lot of things in common then. But now I have a lot of friends. Even having served as a president, whether you like it or not, you must know a lot of people. And be friends with a lot of people. So I think I have a very wide horizon when it comes to having friends and all that.
So now that you're getting ready to leave, who are some of the people you're really going to meet? Of course, there is a lot of people you know, but there are just certain people that when you leave this place, you will most likely, your heart would, you get, just, what I'm trying to say, that who are those people that you may just most likely miss when you leave here?
First of all, I'll miss my assembly's family.
Yes, shout out to the assemblymen.
So we are.
If you don't know them, sorry for you.
No, there are a lot of us here.
Like, I insert their picture. I still have that innovation and growth picture. I'll insert it in this video. But then,
so they really made my stay in the medical school worth it. Even they've supported me from the beginning. Even when I was contesting for the presidency, all of them would come out. They would travel with me through from Sonny, Clinton, Chisom, who was my chief of staff, who else? Obochi, Church Boy, you know,
Church Boy is
Baramuko, Vitalis. He has been an old friend, so
yeah,
they really supported me, and I really appreciate, and at least I owe them.
Yeah.
In their own times, I'll also be there, and I've tried my best to be there when I can. So they really made my stay in medical school easy, even academically. Sometimes they teach me.
Yeah.
They teach me very well.
I think because of, by virtue of what you did, or rather the positions you handled, and it's very important to have somebody like that, people like that will just teach you, because you may not always have the luxury of time to just sit down and just read everything cover to cover like that. So
they made, especially in my 500 level, they really, one of the best year in my medical school is the 500 level.
Finally, I've said something.
Yes, because I learned, the reason is because I learned a lot in that level, and it was courtesy of the assemblies. They taught me. You understand? Because it was at a time came when it became very difficult.
I wish I had a picture, a video of them to share.
To know you get the video, that's not the problem. So they really helped me. Shout out to Clinton and Chisom. There's my chief of staff now. Chisom. They did both of them. Then Sonny, Kelechi, Sonny Cheka. So they did very well for me. They taught me O&G and pediatrics, and I know those things very well today, at least to an extent.
So you've already mentioned this now. So why you're mentioning it? What are some of the study tips that helped you?
Study tips.
Study tips. You've already mentioned that these guys helped you. So are there other things? Maybe there could be one junior colleague or somebody. You know, there could be somebody somewhere that's also admiring you.
Okay.
And they are like, how was he able to do it? You get? And they want to know. They may not be able to walk up to you and ask you. But like as you are here now, just what are these academic study tips that really help?
Anyway, I had
regardless, despite the outcomes and the results, what are some of the things that
I had some friends, and they've graduated now.
Okay.
And I think what year was that? 2022 or 2023. They said that I graduated in 2023. Is it? Yes, 2023.
That's our immediate senior colleague.
No, the ones before.
Okay, that is
Benjamin.
Yes.
So I had friends. Bobo, exactly. So I had friends in that class, most of which were Akadas. So whenever things get tough, I always call them. My chief CEO, I don't know, I'm losing. They tell me, no, you don't need to worry. Look at what you do. Just do this. Look at what they are looking out for. These are the measures, as in just hit this thing, know them. So that what's come to us, when they want to percuss you from that side, you will not flop. So those things, because the truth is, as a medical student, let me not say medical student, because I know that a lot of people have the luxury of time to read. But because of the situation I found myself in, I didn't have that luxury of time, because I was doing a lot of other things to at least create financial stability for myself, because they said that was a problem in the country. So I had to, yes, and God really helped me, because it's not easy that I ventured into something and it was successful.
And you did not repeat.
I did not
withdraw you.
Nothing, as in,
can't thank your staff.
It seemed it was going very well. Meanwhile, I knew what I was fighting with. So those people will always tell me, read this, do that, meet this person, learn this, collect notes here. Use it, go and meet this person, so they'll give you this. So things like that, materials were available, courtesy of them. And they always advise, sometimes when I'm down, because medical school must mess with you. I don't know about other people.
Mentally, don't worry, what other people's video, you will hear what they have to say.
Medical school will dig out I don't know, to destroy. If you're not careful, you
Tell us, how did medical school
you may not remain the same.
Tell us. We're not trying to discourage you, but this is
no, it's the
this
truth.
is all sharing your experience.
No,
You get so. How did it deal with you? How did it tear you? How did they did it shatter you?
It will shatter you now, because you know when high profile people tend to have issues some places, it becomes a news. Everybody is interested in what happened, what did he do, so that one became a very big problem. In as much as it didn't bother me, because I knew that I was here on my own. Nobody brought me here. So, and I don't blame the people who are interested in knowing, because of course this is somebody that has led or has served as a president or has been leading us. So why not? We should know how he's doing.
You put yourself out there for
exactly. Yeah. So it's their right to know what is really going on. So I don't regret anything, but medical school touched me. The reason is because there was no 100% focus. I could not just focus 100%. I couldn't help it.
Was your self-esteem, do you think was your self-esteem hurt a little?
Not really. Because they said, like I always say, they say that what matters is what you have.
Okay.
So at least I could, to an extent, show one or two things I had.
Okay.
To, you know, something. They talk say, if you don't get evidence, you get stand tired. But in my case, it was not like that.
Okay, so if you, in other words, if you seem not to be doing well in one area, you were doing very well
so have
in
a reason,
another area.
So that when people look at that, they'll say, yeah, it's worth it.
Okay.
A lot of people wanted that kind of life.
Okay.
But maybe it did not work out, or some people it also worked out for them two ways. They were doing very well here and there, but the struggle came academically. That's the simple truth. And when it comes heavy. And I'm telling you now, it comes very, very heavy. But I'm happy today I'm here. Do you know? I don't even understand how I came. I'm telling you. Sometimes when I see and look at my journey so far, I'll be like, almost so you are here after everything. As in, because I don't know. I will not say I was an direct too much, or I know the whole thing, or no. I don't know what, I don't just know what. Somehow.
Medical school is all about intelligence?
No, not really. Intelligence plays a very big role. Being intelligent is an edge. What it does for you, it makes things easy for you. As in, they teach, you learn, you read, you understand, you pass and move. But there are some other areas that help.
So that what other things apart from intelligence
you have to be smart. Another thing is reading partners.
Okay.
Reading groups, study groups. And those things help a lot. Because here in my house, my colleagues, the ones I live with, they try to carry everybody along. And the ones that are invested in the academic thing, they do it in a way that even if you're lagging, they have a way of, you know, if you brush it, at least before the exam, they will brush you. From what they have, the knowledge they have, they can, you know, just ask one or two things, touch here, at least you're not entering the exam hall empty and all that. So they really tried in that regard. So it's important to have study groups and people that look out for you.
Okay, so what would you say kept you going? Like with all these things, academically, non-academically, the whole journey and experience, what are some of the things that
I won't forget to mention my family. My family, my mother, my father.
Shout out to mother, father.
They always call me, how is it going now? Everything I did, even when I was doing the politics thing, they were aware. I always carry them along, tell them, look at what I'm doing, they'll pray for me, they'll advise me, if there are things that will stress me, they'll tell me to leave that one and focus on this one. You know, it was very important. They always call me, pray, you know what parents do now. So the umbrella. Then my siblings as well. They always call me, how are you doing? How is it going? You know, so those things were very important for the journey to go smoothly from the 100 days. So I really appreciate my family, my mother, my father, my siblings, my elder brother, my younger brother, my sister.
All of the it was see, okay, I would take it. Choma is like the only girl, but you said you mentioned everybody. It's only Choma's name that you mentioned. You said my brother, my other brother, my junior brother. You not call their names, but you now said Choma
The reason I mentioned
Emeku.
Emeku is because she's in medical school.
Oh, okay,
So I believe
okay,
this video will be centered more on people that we know.
okay.
So not like I
No,
can.
this video can go viral.
Okay,
You never can tell.
Okay, then my elder brother, if I understand them, my elder brother keeps a level.
Okay.
I don't know if I should mention my parents' name.
Shout out to family. Shout out to Emeku Charles' family. You guys did very, very well. Did very right by him. Okay. Well, I don't even know if I have anything to ask you. So, if you are like to describe your medical school experience, like use one word. They use one word and just summarize one word to 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 just describe what your journey has been these past 9 years. I feel like I should be asking people how many years they spend. But the one is 9 years, right? What they ask for? 9 years, yes. So practically, yes. So for everybody who got into medical school up to spend 2016 said to spend 9 years in medical school. That's like studying 2 courses. Wow. This is what it is.
Because are you studying?
So if we were to use one word to wrap it up, to say this is what my medical school experience was, what word would that be?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I can, as I'm just going through my head, a lot of feelings, mixtures of
Yeah.
but I'll have to come up with it was rough. It was rough.
Rough, okay. You say you have many, so if you were to have another word, what will it be?
Okay, it was rough and smooth.
I think I saw it coming. It was rough and smooth.
Yeah.
Okay. But he describes his medical one word that describes his medical journey is rough, interesting. So if with all this now, and if you had to, if it ever happens that you sat across your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
I think my younger self.
Maybe just imagine I am Emeku Charles Jr. sitting here and you are Emeku Charles at this level you are now.
Well, I believe everything that has happened in my life, I think is the perfect thing. I couldn't pray for anything better or less. And so far, I've enjoyed how everything has gone. Some privileges came to me while in medical school that a lot of people were not able to harness. So it's what it's something I can always talk about anytime and tell people there like medical students to not lose hope.
No, tell your younger. You have the one you will tell your junior colleagues.
Okay, that one is coming.
Then the one you would tell yourself, because hopefully, I don't know, by God's grace, this video would go far. By God's grace, you would have to maybe watch this video in 5 years to come. Do you get? The younger version of you may never watch this video, but you would know. So let's say here and now you were to tell your younger self something. Just imagine me as your younger self. What would you say? Because you now in 5 years time when you watch this video, then you'll be like, okay.
Well, to my younger self, the journey has been worth it.
Okay.
I have no regrets. I can go over just in the same pattern again. I don't think I'm going to change anything whatsoever. So you're on the right track.
Okay, that is what he has for his younger self. You are on the right track. Keep going. You will not regret it, and you wouldn't wish you couldn't ask for any more or any less. Nice. So, what would you now advise your junior ones, Mr. President, medical students, maybe 1 or 2 persons who are not medical students that know you, they could find some sort of value in this. Maybe medical students are not even enough. Anybody, anything. So what would you advise your younger colleagues? Let's say you are here now, you are addressing them. But I know some of them, I don't know if you've gotten things like that. I've gotten things like, I wish I can swap with you. Somebody told me, I was sure that someone said, I wish I can swap with you. Just the person is a foreigner, the person is like, I want to be in final year now and just be talking about induction. So what would you tell your younger junior colleagues?
There are two things. Now, one, for the people that are very much interested in academy, like everybody cannot do the same thing. So I will have to say for these people and that for those people. And the people that are more interested in academy, just keep the country has failed us. You understand? But there is hope. A lot of people want to be where you are. That's the same thing. No matter what is going on, because no matter how bad it is, the profession still remains the number one. It's a profession that when you put in what, as in, you may be seeing it as you're wasting your time reading. No, you know that your mates are now doing business, they are this and that. Many of them that are doing business still want to be like you because they know
It's true.
and on the long run, when you come out, it's not you're no longer talking about postgraduate and make you find work. It's not a matter of like you are looking for. You must have somewhere you're doing something. Unlike some of these professions we have, not like they are bad, but because of the content. That is just the advantage in medical. Yes, there is a problem in the health sector. The government has failed us, the country has failed us, but the way things got bad, things can also get better. It's just a matter of praying and putting in more work. Then for medical students who are like me, who want to explore some other things, maybe as means of financial freedom or I don't know, it's not also bad. You can mix both, you can do both of them. I've done both of them and I don't regret anything. Nothing bad has happened. I'm myself. Just that there are things I can do now that I could not do before. I have a degree as well. I don't need to. So it's not bad. If there's anything you want to try as a medical student to be able to have financial freedom, go ahead and do it. Do it. Apply more caution so that you will not lag behind very much. It's okay to lag and come back, but it becomes a problem when you lag and you're lost. So anything you're doing, try as soon as possible to maintain. And one of the ways you maintain this thing is working with like mind, because there are people that are like you. They also want to explore that thing, but are brainy. They are intelligent. They can do both. So always find yourself in the midst of those people, because they are not always talking about academics. They are not always talking about how to make money. They have found a way to balance both. They are doing something that is giving them change, small change. They are also excelling academically. So when you follow people like that, you can't get bad. Even if things shade, it won't be as bad as just following these people alone or follow. I don't even know what I'm saying. So explore other options to be financially free, because that's what matters. By God's grace, when I graduate now, when I do my induction, there are things I cannot talk about again. I was able to achieve those things as a student. So it's going to be an easy.
Should you come and take tutorial? Should you come and do tutorial?
Well, I'm not a financial coach. I'm not telling you what worked for me.
Okay.
So I'm also trying to advise the people that feel that they can do same.
Okay.
To go ahead. There's nothing bad in doing this and doing that. At the end of the day, people will be proud of you. That's a simple thing. People like so. People like.
But most importantly, you should be proud of yourself. Don't make sure that whatever you're doing,
so people like success. People like people that are excelling. No matter how, nobody cares. But please mind the kind of things you do. It's also very
okay, that's interesting. It's quite interesting coming from you. Now, with all these things you've said, because it is quite obvious that you are not just, the typical medical students. We do practice.
I'll do my house job.
Yes, that's
the house job. Maybe try the profession while waiting for the main thing.
What is the main thing?
The main thing is politics.
Okay, so you're looking forward to venturing into politics full time. Interesting. Would you want me to be your vice president again when you venture?
Why not? If fate brings us together again to work, why not?
Would you want to work with me again?
Why not? Yes. At least the one we did was not bad. So there's no problem working with each other.
Okay. Okay. So do you given that you are not going to parties and you're going to venture into politics, do you have plans to japa? Are you going to be a patriotic Nigerian now since you
The Jamba thing is mixed. Obviously, I'll go there. To see life from another view. Also, I'll come back because I like the country. That's the simple thing. The country has delivered me.
the same country that you said failed? I think I know what I'm doing with you.
Well, I think I'm loud enough, so they should.
Okay. So what was the thing? Okay, so is there something that you found concerning in medical school as a medical student? Like if you had the power to change something, what would that be? Just let your head roll.
Okay, the fact that medical students are being subjected to a lot of pressure. I understand that students don't read. Sometimes the problem is coming from the fact that we don't read. We are not able to, we are too busy with some other things because of how the country has made it. So you try to do this, you try to do that, you try to, before you know it, you're missing in one or two things in the school. But I feel the workload, the pressure is much. As in, for example, in clinical school, when you're doing pharmacology and pathology, the people in pathology don't care what the people in pharmacology are doing. For example, somebody can have pharmacology test today. Pathology department, what they know is that they have their test tomorrow. They don't care how you do it. Sometimes they change it. Sometimes when pressure is being, maybe students complain or they change it, but most times things happen anyhow. You write this one today, you write that one today, they don't care about this. Before you know it, a result has come out. Some people are now have had problems. So just like that, everything moves fast. I'm also blaming medical students for not reading, because the people that went or did this course before us told us that in their days, they keep telling us stories of how in their days they don't do any other thing, they only read, they do this and they do that. But you cannot compare the situation of things then with that of the things now, because then at least you could afford a student could afford food. Let's say maybe your parents are civil servants, then they were being paid well to an extent, you could afford food, they could send as in. But now your parents are civil servants, they are being old, no money is coming your way as a medical student, you're hungry, you cannot do these things with all this pressure. The school system does not have room for pressure management, how to ease this. They don't care about the personal life of the medical student, whether you're alive or not, it does not concern them. So those things are things that should be looked into.
Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is that it also contributes to the mental
Yes.
mental pressure. Let me not use the word pressure again, but the mental stress on medical students.
Yeah.
So that's one
Things have changed. The country has changed. So the academic calendar or schedule or curriculum, whatever, should also.
Are you trying to say they should remove some things? Right?
No.
They should space it more. I didn't say they should add more years.
Adding more is the solution.
No, it's not. But I'm asking you, like,
no, I don't think it's the solution. But well, I don't know what they will do, but I believe they are smart enough to know what to do in times like this.
So if it was you,
okay,
well, what would you approach it?
Well, it's a timetable something, I believe. Timetable, because some of these are not to speak bad of anybody. In fact, I will not say anything about this.
Okay. The politician's instinct just came in.
I'm not saying that about
okay, that's nice. Okay. Trying your medical school, yeah, did you stay in the hostel in the lodge?
I stayed in the lodge throughout.
Did you ever stay in the hostel?
No.
You mean year one?
No.
Did you ever stay in the hostel in your life?
No.
But you said you hosted in your secondary school.
Yeah, secondary school. That was the last place I could stay in hostel.
Your children,
Yes, obviously they will be they will go as in their secondary school.
Yes.
They will attend the boarding school normally.
Okay, but in the university.
No.
Why?
I don't like the place sometimes. I don't know, the environment it's not so clean sometimes. So I don't really know, but it's not something I want for myself or my children and all that.
Okay, that's nice. You know what they say, favorite quotes and all those things. What is yours?
Mine is give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.
So what belongs to Caesar and what belongs to God?
It depends on what Caesar wants from you. I don't even understand. It depends on what you are promised to give Caesar. Because
so what of the one you promised to give God?
That
or
is
the one
same.
God demands from you?
Same thing.
So what if God demands from you what Caesar is asking for?
I don't think our God works in that way. Our God is not there. He's not a wicked God. He's not there to destroy us.
There are some things God has just said, this is it. Oh, then Caesar, God has already said it first. This is it. Oh.
Well, I don't believe Caesar will want what God wants already. It doesn't make sense from Caesar. If Caesar wants what God wants, then
Caesar, come and join this conversation.
If Caesar wants what God wants, then don't give it to him. Yeah, always give God what he wants, then Caesar.
Okay, do you have any other thing to tell us? Is there something?
Well, there's no other thing.
Even for yourself, do you want to ever come back to this video and just anything? Just feel free.
First of all, I'll thank you for doing this. Because sometimes medical students need things like this from the people they are looking up to, the Apex class people. How were you able to? Because they will look at a lot of things. They know that this person is not an academic. So how is he doing this thing? Do you understand? Because when I in my through days, there are some senior colleagues I'll say, but this senior colleague, this person know they do academic thing. How come they? Do you understand? It's something that a lot of medical students ask, especially the ones that are into a lot of things. Then medical school. So the question they ask, the truth is that whichever way you can thrive, whether academically, whether you want to be in the middle, whether you want to mix it, whether there is, as in everybody has how he or she are being called to the medical profession. Do you understand? Because that if you're a business person, you think you do well in business, as in it works for you. You will not, because you're a medical student, to leave business that can be mixed. Unless maybe the thing is being too tasking, then you can maybe excuse yourself for some time. But if it's something you have looked at and say, well, I can, go for it, do it, mix it, you will not regret it. That's the simple truth. Because at the end of the day, you'll be coming out with two things.
Yeah. While
maybe some other people that have faced academic, not that any of them is bad, but the person that comes with two always has an advantage. That's in reality. Because some things become easier from the beginning. Because upon induction, it's assumed that life has started. People don't want to know if you've been in the profession for 100 years. What they know is that you're now a medical doctor. So if they have headache, if they have this, if they need money, maybe your Indian family, they always call you. You can't keep telling them that I just came out from school. That's the truth, but many of them don't want to, they don't care, they don't know it. What they know is that he's a medical doctor. If you have problem, talk to Chinedu. You always, I don't even know what I'm saying.
Talk to Dr.
Charles. Talk to Dr. Charles or Dr. whoever. They will know what to do for you. So you always, think ahead so that you're able to balance, especially for the men. I don't know about women, I don't know, but for men, it's always like that.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much. So in that sense, it's very important that you try to strike a balance. You get so if you're not going to be a typical medical student, let me be that whatever other thing you're doing, there has to be some level of balance that will help you. Okay, Charles, thank you so much. I believe that you guys, within the context of what we're putting out here, that you're able to get something That is very, very valuable. That's one of my things that you get to learn from the experience. See, today we have a slightly different. The last person we interviewed before now was a typical woman today that you had all she had to say. This other person ventured into a thing or two. So there you go. Now, Charles, you have an opportunity to ask me anything for that. Hey, I am here to ask you. I am here.
Ask
Ask
anything.
me
Okay.
one question only.
One question. What question suits our Madam G?
Which one that you want to ask? Not that
Question.
that's anything.
Are you going to practice medicine?
That's a very good question. I think I know.
At this point, we didn't know our microphones were already disconnected. Could be a call came in or something like that. However, someone else asked me this question. So just look out for our other videos and you will know what my full response was. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ciao.